there's like a tier of the music industry and knowledge that you need, the manager kind of sits at the top because you're working across all of the disciplines. You know, recorded music, you do stuff in the studio, you're kind of doing A&R as well, you're kind of working with the booking agents, you're working with publishers, you're dealing with lawyers, contracts. So like the manager is really, you have to have a broad knowledge of all parts of the music industry.
It's challenging as a young artist manager because you usually take on a mate's band or you come up through that way and they don't have a lot of money. I think that you do need to have a knowledge of all the areas. You haven't got the money or cash flow to go and invest in a lawyer or necessarily to start out. So for me personally, just getting off the management thing, I guess I just followed the thing I liked the most, which was I was always backstage plugging in leads, and that then sort of got me into concert lighting while I was at uni, and then I followed that into production, and then I guess my engineering stuff helped the project management side, but I was still, for the first 5 years of Hills, I was up ladders plugging lights in. I still do a lot of the time. But it was almost, I followed the passion thread. So after having sort of run events and seen all of the different elements, I found a thread that I followed through, and it's now led to sort of general managing and managing the event side of our business.
Even as a musician, you sort of eventually know how all these things work when you've done it long enough, because you're around people that do it and do this other thing and manage this part. And so I think that's sort of like how I got into doing all this other stuff as well, primarily being a musician, and then seeing how this management thing works and this record label thing works, and how you tour and whoever tour manages this thing and blah, blah, blah. And then being aware, just being open and aware of how all these mechanisms work, I think makes you a better musician as well. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're sort of like this and you don't know, and then I think you don't operate as well as a musician because you're not aware of how to make everything as easy as possible. And I think, yeah, sort of design, like graphic design and photography and stuff like that, if you've sort of got a grasp and stuff like that, your image as a, you know, either an artist or whether you're running a, you know, management company or a label or whatever, then you've got an idea of how you want to be put across in social media and, you know, as like a branding thing. And I think that's kind of good, and that sort of served me well because I always think, oh, I can just do this thing and do this logo or do this poster.
Yes. I wish I had Photoshop skills. It's the one thing I don't have, and I'm always like,
Yeah, because you've got to pay someone to do it.
It's like, totally.
Yeah. And
what allowed me to do what I do now is definitely the structure around the engineering education in terms of project management and just having a concept of certain elements, and just ways of approaching councils and certain skill sets that I wouldn't have got.
It's great for networking too, like the uni thing.
Yeah.
It was funny when I played Meredith last year. I was hanging out backstage, and I realised that almost every group that was there, that was sort of around my time slot on Saturday afternoon or whatever, had people that I knew from uni playing in them, which was really cool.
Calendar management is super important for me.
Yeah, I'm pretty all over the iCal thing.
Just recently, I've had to start saying no to a lot of things because I was never very good at that, and I just said yes, 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 and then next minute I'm curating lineups for things and doing a million different things, and it was just too much. So I'm very specific in what I'm doing at the moment and trying not to take on too many things and be more selective with the kind of roles that I'm playing.
When you're not earning enough to survive, you'll say yes to anything, and you need to, and you take on these things. And then in mine and my brother's sort of path, it's sort of been do what feels right. Like there's always that essence in it, and it's got to feel good, or else no business or no partnership arrangement will ever work.
You've got to also acknowledge your workload as well when these opportunities come, because sometimes it seems like a really good idea, but then you'll get into it and you're like, well, now I've taken on way too much, and that's been a really important like learning curve for me since going out on my own, just like how much you can actually do as one person running a business.
Because you suffer and so does whoever you're working for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do the pizza.
I'm at a stage where I don't want to give up what I do because I love what I do, but I also need to find a balance in it that's sustainable.
I've got to learn to not expect the world of the people who are managing me and stuff like that. So when I'm in the musician scenario and I'm not managing things, I got to not be super demanding as well and understand that, oh, maybe this can wait as well. I think that's important.
That's nice to hear that.
Yeah. Because I, you know, because you're like, the only way I can find this out is because the manager knows the thing, and I need to know now because I'm stressing out about this thing, and they book this thing, and then I'm like, hang on, this can probably wait till tomorrow and not 1 a.m. at night when I'm sending the message to the manager or whatever. So yeah, I think that's important to think about if you're in that role.
Cool. So I guess you can kind of take from that, you know, obviously you guys are super experienced in the industry, and then people that are studying are, you know, on the other end, getting that insight of what it's like to, you know, from your point of view, to be hiring the new people that are passionate about the music industry and really what it means to you guys, and how you're doing this because you're trying to set some sort of boundaries in regards to living a healthy lifestyle and putting trust in these people by handing that over to them, so you're both happy. But anyway, that concludes the seminar, and thank you so much for coming in and having a chat. It was great.
No worries, thank you.